Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe Finley, aka MiscastJoe, and this beautiful little baby is the HyperX Quadcast S. And the interesting thing about this guy is the beautiful lights. I've not had a chance to listen to this yet. We've done a few mic tests in the past. We know that I test in a louder environment. I've got my PC just underneath. So we're going to see how this one compares to the other ones. Let's go have a look. Okay, so we are up and running with the HyperX Quadcast S. It comes at a stand initially. It's this one right here. It's actually quite a heavy stand, and it has a little screw in it that you have to undo, pop it out, and it comes with a little adapter that has two sizes to fit onto your mic arm or onto a mic stand, a boom, what have you. It can handle all of those things, and you just screw it into there, and then you just attach it via the original screw. You can see it comes mounted with a shock mount. You can take it off. It's a lot more trouble than it's worth, and why would you? It's a shock mount. It is what it's for. Looks gorgeous though. It looks nice sitting next to me. I'm pretty happy about it. It's big, but I'm okay with big. Very nice little feature on this. So you have your mic volume down here that you can adjust just by twisting. The thing is, it's got the little notches, like here's the smallest and then here's the biggest, but it goes up way beyond on either side. I think it's just giving you the idea of this way goes this way. It would be nice to see where it ends so you kind of have some gauge of percentage, but that's okay. And then if you want to mute, all you have to do is tap the top, just like that. And obviously it shows how it's muted, and we unmute just like that. Very simple. So the plugs for this bad boy are in the back for both the USB and for the low latency, well, no latency monitoring. That's why I have these headphones plugged in right now, just because I didn't want to deal with my hub for the wireless ones. Wasn't worth it to me because you can't hear it. So another thing that this mic has that a previous one had, we have selectable polar patterns on this mic, which is fun. So right now we're on the cardioid, and the choices you have are exactly the same as the EPOS B20 streaming microphone that we had before. We have our stereo, we have our cardioid, we have our omnidirectional, and we have our bidirectional. Let's have a listen to what each of those sounds like. So this is what the cardioid sounds like. Very simple. Again, it's directional towards me. It's trying to block out anything in the back. It's going to pick up a little bit on the sides. This is the omnidirectional, so now it's picking up everything on any side and all the way to the back. If I can keep talking around this way. I know I just left the screen, but that's just how it's going to have to go. So you can see it doesn't really change no matter where I go around this mic. This is the stereo, so the more I'm to one side, you can see that the audio kind of goes over to this side, and then the more over to this side I go, you can see that it goes over to this side. You know, it's good for some people. Be good for some ASMR. I'm over here. I'm over here. Should I get into ASMR? And now we have our bidirectional, so we're catching it on this side. And then you would also catch it on this side. Putting it back to cardioid, we're going to let the mic sit for a second, and we're going to hear the room noise. Okay, so here's the software. It was actually a really quick install. There wasn't much to it at all. I had to do a quick restart. You know, that always bugs me. I think we should be past that. We put men on the moon 50 years ago almost. So anyways, this is the basics of the HyperX NGenuity software. You can see up here that my connected products would all be here. This is the same software that they use for the RGB on everything. That would include keyboards, RGB memory, anything like that would all show up here at the same time, headphones. So I've clicked on microphone because it's my only option, and then just some simple things right off the bat. So we can see mic volume, mic monitoring, and headphone volume. You can also see that the polar pattern that is selected shows up here. If I change it, or reaching over here, you'll see that it changes along with it. And if I bring this guy back in here for a minute, and we go to the lights, you can see we have a whole setup here for the RGB, so I can change the color just like that, just clicking on stuff. So the effect that you saw earlier in the video was the waves, so we'll select that. You can see it's got the little eye here, so if I go up here, I'll see it's also on the solid, so I'm going to just not see the solid. And there, now we've got the wave again, going through all its colors. It's really pretty. A little distracting at this speed though, so if we look it up and click here, I can actually change the speed. There we go, that's all right. And it'll just go there. And if I click add effect here, there's a bunch of other ones. There's lightning. That's what that looks like. And there's cycle, which I think is just going to go through colors. There you go. But just one solid color this way. And then you can save all of your settings to the microphone at any given time. If you come up here, you've got options. So this will change it if you don't want the RGB to be on during your stuff. You could change it so if I click that, now it's off unless I mute, and then it turns on. So that's just another option you have. We'll just leave it as live for now. Your brightness is here, so you can actually have it considerably brighter, or bring it down and make it very muted. Or that actually brings it down to nothing, doesn't it? But you can bring it down quite low and bring it up quite high. You can also create a number of presets in here, so you might have different color schemes and stuff like that. This is going to be across multiple devices. If you have a lot of HyperX devices, you can create a color scheme that would be for your stream, and then maybe you do a podcast or something, and you might want a different color sequence to match the colors of that brand. Not much in the way of controls. There's nothing that takes care of any kind of EQ or something like that. Like I said, all we have are just these simple controls here, which just up your headphone volume, which is good because there is nothing like that on the microphone itself, so you have to have a place to do it. But yeah, that's the software in a nutshell. It's really just for RGB controls for the most part, but it's easy and it's nice. So for our mic test, I'm going to read the same 5 things I read in the last mic test. This is going to be my standard from now on. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. Now, it sounds pretty good in my headphones, but what I want to do is I want to listen back to the recording and give an overall judgment. Okay, so I had a chance to listen to it, and it didn't sound bad. Again, some room noise. I was expecting it, but it wasn't crazy out of nowhere. It was a little bit low, the audio I found. I was able to adjust it a little bit more with this. I thought that the controls on the software were the same as the controls on there. Apparently not. So you mess around with that a little bit, and I found my volume. So what I want to do now is see if we can improve upon that audio with some plugins and some post and all that kind of stuff like we've been doing in the past. So let's have a listen to that. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. Okay, so I had a chance to listen to all of them, and I liked what I heard. The OBS one was a little bit rough coming in and out of the noise gate. The attack was just on that noise. You can really hear it like comes roaring back as you start to talk. So you got to be a little mindful of that. I'm sure a little bit more tweaking, I could have made it a little bit cleaner. There's probably some extra tweaking that I could have done to have taken care of this. I could have brought the level down a little bit more. I could have adjusted the settings on the noise gate a little bit more and things like that. But overall, it was serviceable for OBS. But for DaVinci Resolve, if you're using this in post, it ended up coming up beautiful, I think. I didn't have to use an additional noise gate. The noise reduction in and of itself worked beautifully. The EQ took care of any loss that I had from the noise reduction and stuff like that. I was really happy with it. It's a beautiful mic. Now, as far as the value of the mic, I looked it up, and in the US right now, it's marketed for just under $200. At least that's the prices I'm finding it for at the moment. That's a lot of money for a microphone that's more pretty than anything else. Like it's a good mic, it's a serviceable mic, but is it so good that it justifies the extra price just to light it up? I would probably say save your money. It depends on the aesthetic of the stream, I guess. If you really want an RGB mic, this would probably be the one for you then, absolutely. It is a pretty mic. It sounded good. We made it sound good, not as good out of the box. Well, let's give this some kind of score. Build quality, decent build quality. It's stronger than some of the ones that I did before, but it's still not a metal, or if it is metal, it's a very light metal body. It's got a nice stand, and I like the way that it has a little adapter for it. I do prefer, a lot of the other mics have something that is already an adapter. It goes directly from the stand to a mic arm without having any extra pieces required. That could be a thing if you do sometimes use something on your desk, and if you do move it and things like that, it's a little piece that can get lost and just kind of, ruin your day. But aside from that, decent build quality. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Sound out of the box, again, not bad. I'm going to probably give it another 6.5 out of 10, just because it did pick up a lot of noise. And just the overall sound of my voice, I wasn't a huge fan of it just out of the box. Now, I know nobody likes their own voice, but just the way I like to hear my voice, if I have to hear it, that wasn't exactly it. Sound quality after a little bit of work, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was beautiful coming out of the DaVinci Resolve. It was a little dicey coming out of the OBS. But like I said, if you really get in there and fine tune it for yourself, like this was just a little quick test. If you had this in front of you and you were fine-tuning it to be perfect for your stream, I bet you can get it to a much better place than even I had it. For features and software, I'll give it an 8. I like the tap on the top to mute. I like the volume on the bottom as it is. Not a huge fan of the placement of the polar pattern selector because it's right close to the shock mount and it's kind of hard to get to it. Now, it's not like it's something you'd be switching a lot mid-stream or mid-podcast or something like that. Not a huge deal as far as that's concerned, but it would be nice to be able to get to it a little bit easier or to be able to switch it through the software. The software itself, again, it's serviceable. It doesn't do a lot in the way of control, but it's really easy for controlling the RGB on your mic and making it just the way you want. And as for overall value, I'm going to give it about a 7. It sounds okay. It's probably the prettiest USB mic on the market right now, so you've got that going for you. Hopefully it is not too much of a distraction. It's actually off to the corner right now, and I can sort of just see it, and I do find it a little distracting, but I'm not mad at it. I would wait for a time to get this thing on sale, though, if at all possible. It's just a little bit higher than I would want to pay. If this came with a software that was out of this world, like a Wavelink or a Rode Connect or something like that, I think that would be something else to kind of sweeten the pot, as it were. Which, by the way, HyperX, get on that kind of software, because we could really use more companies doing that. I know I've mentioned it in videos past, but I think you guys can do a lot with it, especially because you have your headsets and you have all these other things. You can integrate a lot of your stuff in one place and control a hell of a stream out of it. So that's a little thing for you guys over at HyperX. My consulting fee, I guess, is in the mail. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to click like and click subscribe, click the bell so you get notified of any future videos that are coming up, which, by the way, there are a ton, I promise. And I hope to get a lot of new mics soon to show you guys what's what. Until next time, get to work. Hashtag cat's dream. You good girl? Yes. Say hello. Say hi to the stream. So you see you. You're famous.